الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأزواجه وذريته أجمعين. اللهم ربنا أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. اللهم أرنا حقائق الأشياء كما هي ربنا زدنا علما وعملا وإخلاصا يا رب العالمين. ربي يسر ولا تؤسر، ربي يسر ولا تؤسر. اللهم ربنا زدنا علما وعملا وإخلاصا يا رب العالمين. اللهم أرنا حقائق الأشياء كما هي. اللهم رجعنا من إخواننا في غزة وفي مشارق الأرض ومغاربها. اللهم انصر أوليائك في غزة وفي مشارق الأرض ومغاربها وانصرهم على عدوك وعدوهم. اللهم لعن واقتل وانتقم من الذين يقتلون الأبرياء والأطفال والنساء. اللهم شتت شملهم ومزق جمعهم وخرب بيوتهم ودمر ديارهم وزلزل أقدامهم وزلزل أقدامهم وبنيانهم وأنزل بهم بأسك الذي لا ترده عن القوم المجرمين. اللهم لا تحقق لهم غاية ولا ترفع لهم راية واجعلهم إبرة وآية يا رب العالمين. آمين. اللهم إنا نتوسل إليك بالشهداء غزة أن تقبل دعاءنا وتحقق رجعنا. وصل وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأزواجه وذريته أجمعين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. آمين. Okay, so we are starting from here. Let us turn attention to metta. Let us turn our attention to metta. In order exactly to appreciate the position of modern physics, it is necessary to understand clearly what we mean by metta. Okay. Physics as an empirical science. Deals with the facts of experience. Does it? I mean, that is sense experience. I mean, that's the myth created by and perpetuated by British empiricism. And the sense experience which British empiricists talk about is, so sense experience is simply experience through our senses. But when British empiricists talk about sense experience, the sense experience they're talking about is an abstraction. And by British empiricist, I mean Locke, Hume, and Berkeley, but also probably Hobbes, and also Bacon, for example, Roger Bacon. Although an Islamic will talk about Francis Bacon, who is not a modern figure. He's more like an early modern figure. So what I'm talking about is the sense experience doesn't really mean something concrete, what we experience. Because what Locke describes as sense experience is an abstraction, because we don't actually experience, at least not at the conscious level. And that's what generally experience means. Not really. I mean, no, I didn't mean to say that. What Locke talks about, or Hume talks about, how we experience things. through sense perception and ideas. The abstraction in the sense that that's not that's more like one possible analysis of our experience, not actual experiences. Because I don't experience sense data, things like that. I experience seeing a tree as an organic whole. What goes on at neurological level, that can't be described as experience. That's more like breaking down of experience or analysis of experience. Anyway, what I meant to say was we should differentiate between experience and mythology woven around experience. And we should also differentiate between science and different justifications of science. And British empiricism is one important philosophical justification of science. And Allama Iqbal was on the one hand, he was influenced by Hegel, obviously, but on the other hand, he was also very much impressed by an empiricist version of, or British empiricist justification of, or mythologization of science. Okay, so the physicist begins and ends with sensible phenomena, without which it is impossible for him to verify his theories. So that's another I should say theory about how science works. A science about explaining sensible phenomena, explaining sense data through theories. But that's just a one version of and one version of, or one theorization of how science works or how physics works. I don't think that's how physics work, but anyhow, let's move on for a moment. The physicist begins and ends with possible phenomena, without which it is impossible for him to verify his theory. He may postulate imperceptible entities such as atoms, but he does so because he cannot otherwise explain his sense experience. So, for Iqbal here, explanation is the primary objective of physics. But I don't think this is the primary object of physics, and I think Allama Iqbal's version of science is a voodoo science, or a mythical version of science. And one basic misunderstanding in Iqbal is between I don't think science, the purpose of science is to explain things primarily. I mean, it explains things as well, but that's not its primary objective. And we should distinguish between experience and experiments. The basic purpose of physics or other sciences is not to explain things. That's not the primary objective. The objective is to create controlled reality. That's what experiments is about. So experiment is not about experience. Experiment is abstraction from experience. The purpose of experience is to create a controlled reality, an abstract reality in a sense. It's not in the sense that it is an abstract in itself, but it is abstracted from the real world. And then and the purpose of those experiences is to understand how to control the world, really. That's the how to control the world. Obviously, you need understanding for that, but the overwhelming purpose is, overriding purpose is control. And obviously, no physics can control the real world, so it creates machine, and a machine is basically an abstraction from the real, and tries to figure out how to control that machine. And its dream is to make the world into a huge machine which it can control. That's the purpose. Allama Iqbal doesn't get that at all. I mean, he fully accepts the myth about science that it is about understanding the world and all this crap. Thus, physics studies the material world, that is to say, the world revealed by senses. The basic purpose is physics is to how to manipulate that world, and it realizes that it cannot manipulate that world without rebuilding it in a controlled environment in its own image. That's the main thing. No physical laws as such govern the world, in a sense. Those laws are about the controlled world which physics creates, really. The mental processes and understanding similarly. Okay, let's stop here. I will continue from here, inshallah. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa azwajihi wa zurriyyatihi ajma'in bi rahmatika ya arhamar rahimin.